Good morning, everyone. I thought I'd give a rundown on fantasy football this morning. I am running, I believe, 8 teams this year. I've got 4 on Yahoo, and I've got 9 that I'm running this year. I've got 4 on Yahoo, I've got 5 on ESPN. There's a mixture of redraft, dynasty, and keeper. Um, there's a mixture of individual players. There's a mixture of small rosters, 1 quarterback, 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, tight end, 1 flex. I've got deep leagues. I've got ones with individual players. I've got a super flex. I've got one where you keep one from every position. I've got one where you keep everybody and you only drop 3 players, so you can have 3 people for your quote unquote rookie draft the next summer. I've got things up and down the chart, so it's very interesting having to play back and forth on different teams. But 9 is kind of like where I put the limit on. I picked up 2 dynasty teams in the off season that I wasn't expecting. I was only going to run 7 football teams, but 9 is all right. Gives me a chance. But so far this year, I'm 1-1 in all my teams except for 1 football team. I have a redraft league at work that I am 0-2 in. This is a league where I have both Patrick Mahomes and A.J. Brown in it, surprisingly enough. So I'll focus on that team in particular, and then I'll give a quick rundown of my other teams. This team I am 0-2 in, and my team is literally the worst point scoring team in the league. I am 100 points behind first place. I am 4 points behind second to last place. Second to last place is the taco of the league. So, at least he drafted well. My starting lineup right now is Patrick Mahomes, Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, A.J. Brown, Dylan Moore. Travis Kelce, who was out week 1 and will affect some of those points. Tyler Algier, Jags D in special teams, and Evan McPherson. So, in theory, McPherson should be one of the best kickers in the league, but he's dirt terrible. And if I even take Kelsey's average from last week and tack it onto my team, that gets me to 8th place out of 10 in terms of points. It would be very close. I might actually be 8th place. And then it's another 13-point jump to get to 7. So it's terrible. On my bench, I've got Jerry Jeudy, who's been out for a game already. I've got Drake London. I have A.J. Dillon, Samaje Perine, the Dolphins D, Dalton Kincaid, and Russell Wilson. One little catch for this team is that I also have Deontay Johnson, who is injured right now and has been ineffective this year. So there's some potential on this team. DJ Moore is the number 1 wide receiver for a Chicago team that's not very good on offense, but he's going to get the targets, and because we count PPR, Moore still has intrinsic value. Relative to other players, maybe not, but that Jags D is supposed to be good this year. The Dolphins D is just a streamer. I can drop him to pick up someone else right now. Jeudy was injured week 1. Drake London put up a big fat 0 week 1. Kelce was injured week 1. Deontay Johnson's injured now. There's very little margin for error right now. But I mean, Drake London, it's a rushing team, but he's the number 1 option if Kyle Pitts isn't the number 1 option. A.J. Dillon's going to cover, especially if Jones is going to be injured again this week. So, there's some ways to go, but this is not a 10-man team type of roster. Najee and Ramondre should be top-line running backs. My wide receivers could use some work. I like A.J. Brown, but DJ Moore is more like a dart throw. He's more like a flex play than a wide receiver 2 on a 10-man team. The number 1 team here, his roster comes out like insane. He has Dak Prescott, which is okay, but he's got Bijan Robinson. He's got James Cook. When did he take Bijan? Took him 12th overall. Well, good for him. Took him probably above Najee Harris. Nope, Najee Harris in the 4th. Probably took Patrick Mahomes. All right, cool. He got Dak, Bijan. He's got James Cook from Buffalo, Stephon Diggs from Buffalo. He's got Keenan Allen, George Kittle, Raheem Mostert, Saints D, Jake Elliott. He also has Brandon Cooks, Khalil Herbert, Charbonnet from Seattle, Jacoby Myers, Tyler Boyd, Curtis Samuel, Tyler Higbee. So his bench, not too thrilling, but his starting lineup is making the best of it right now, which is pretty impressive. So I'll give him credit. He drafted really good this year. This is the older guy that I know at work. My Dynasty League team for work was his old Dynasty League team. There was just a 1-year interim where one of the people at work took it over and then moved out of state to another job. So essentially my team was more or less his team, except with a couple more Packers players on it. And then I went and just tore it down and built it back up. But all my other teams are like meh, like they're okay teams. This one is frustrating because I don't draft for 10-man teams. I draft for 12, 16, or very deep 12-man teams with large starting lineups and large rosters. So when I look at it and I'm like, wow, I've got Samaje Perine on my bench. That's cool that he's the 37th ranked running back. Not good enough on a 10-man team. Because that's essentially bench material at that point. Like, you run 2 starting running backs on 10 team. That's already 20 players. Let's assume your flex is all running back and no wide receivers. That's already 30. So once you get down to the back end 30s, that's literally your second running back off your bench on a 10-man team, which is not very good. But you put that on a 12-man. You put that on a 12-man. All of a sudden, 38 becomes just barely. 37 becomes just barely off your flex. But it's also a deep flex, so the fact that you even have one of those guys on your bench is a good thing. And a 16 team, all of a sudden, he becomes just off starting running back, and now in a 20-man team. One of my teams is 20-man with individual players. Having Samaje Perine be a starting running back is literally going to save your ass during the year. Because there is nobody. You run 2 running backs, which already gets you to running back 40, which means if you have one of those guys even in your flex, you're a miracle worker. So, this team, good team, not for the league that I drafted them in. Everyone else is 1-1. Family league, I'm 1-1 in, even though my offense is toward the bottom of the league, and I'm very lucky that the worst team in the league is literally my division. Otherwise, I'd be screwed. My playoff percentage is 54%. After 2 weeks, small sample size and all. So that's awful. Hell, 38% chance in that redraft league. I'm already screwed over there. Bam, bam. Dynasty League. Went up against one of the best teams in the league last year. Lost by 30 points because he has one of the best offenses out there. 150 to 120. But compared to last year, that's pretty good. I've had to rework this team the last 2 years to mold it into someone that I want. Literally, the only people left are Russell Wilson, and Mike Evans wasn't even, like, Russell Wilson, Pat Freiermuth, Aaron Jones. And that's it. Literally everyone else. Oh, and Nick Chubb. But Chubb's out for the year with that knee injury. So that's not going to help him at all. everyone else has been restyled on the team. I picked up Joe Mixon this offseason. I drafted Brian Robinson Jr. last season. Mike Evans came in a trade last year. T. Higgins, I got in a massive trade this year. I had the second. I lucked into the first overall pick. And while I could have taken Bijan Robinson and just crushed it this year, I did something different and might actually have worked out better for my team. I traded the first overall pick for the fourth, and got T. Higgins with it. So I took the T. Higgins in the fourth. And then I took that fourth round and I moved it for the sixth overall and a second round pick, which might have screwed me. Probably should have taken a different tact with it. And I took Jordan Addison at sixth overall, and then I took Chase Brown with my with my second round pick, and then I picked up Deuce Vaughn from the Cowboys right after that. But I mean, I got T. Higgins now. I got Christian Kirk in an off-season trade. These guys. Pat Freiermuth is on my team. Steelers D, Jake Elliott kicker. I got some decent stuff on this team. I got P. Ryan on this team. Like I said, P. Ryan as a bench play, not the best thing, but he'll work. He's definitely rosterable, especially because I got Tony Jones Jr. way down on the list. I think I got like 7 running backs on this team. 2 start, 1 flex. Got P. Ryan on the bench, got Brown on the bench, got Vaughn on the bench. That's 6. Tony Jones Jr. 7. Okay. Chubb is technically 8th, but you run running back heavy in this league all the time. Everybody wants that young running back. So, I mean, I've got, for wide receivers, I got Jacoby Myers, Christian Kirk, Jordan Addison on my bench. Good backups to Evans and Higgins. If I need to plug somebody in, I'm not worried about dropping off too much. Averaging 116 points projected this week, that's better than last year. I'm probably going to have a 500 team when it's all said and done. But we'll see what happens. I'd like to see if that CD and Dex stack is going to be awful, and then I've got to face Kelsey and Godare. Oof. Well, let's see how well this team does. But yeah, now I'm going up against the guy that made it to the championship game last year. So I played one championship guy last week. Now I've got the other championship guy this week. I believe I've got less than a 50% chance of making the playoffs, but I'm taking a team that was literally bottom of the barrel the last 2 years and turning it into a playoff-style team by trading down and improving the quality of my team. I don't want to sit on the bottom and rebuild the team. I want to compete. So, by competing, I give myself a chance to enjoy this team. I'm okay if I need to, but if I see that there's easy ways to improve the team and quickly, I will do it. This one in particular, I'm going to have some really bad luck because I'm going to play some really good teams multiple times this year. So my points against will luck me into some very bad situations. But right now, I am the 5th best team. Last year, I was the 3rd worst team out of 12. So I am up at 5 instead of down at 9 or 10 in terms of points. That is a significant improvement. That's already 20 points a game average above those players right now. The guy in last, I might see if he wants to go all in and just trash his team. Maybe I can get lucky and pick up somebody on the cheap for him. He's got players galore that are out, and he's not going to really have anybody good. Lamar Jackson, Rachaad White, DJ Metcalf. I mean, hell, there's an off chance that I can get Jamar Chase. But that was going to take a lot, especially because this is like a rookie draft. All he really needs is another running back, to be honest. He's got Rachaad White, Josh Kelly, Chuba Hubbard, Zach Charbonnet, which I think was a bad idea, and Tajay Spears. And Spears might start if I can see him, Derrick Henry goes down. So, I mean, get him a running back and get him healthy, and this is like a playoff team anyway. But we can see if he wants to throw in the towel. Maybe I can get Rachaad White off of this mother and get, something good, because he's got players that are just dead. Let's see if I can take a couple of those injured players. He's also got the guy going to free agency this week. That might be a little too much for me to swallow on my team. I'll send him Samaji. I can send him Jacoby Myers. I'll send him Chase Brown. Hell. No. I want to send him Deuce Vaughn. I want to keep Chase Brown on the off chance that Chase Brown is going to be like Joe Mixon's handcuff. That's the entire reason why I drafted Chase Brown. So I would have a catch there. He also doesn't have a backup quarterback. I might want to go and... Desmond Ridder. Man. Rookie, middle of the pack. If he's only going to throw for 237, a touchdown, interception, and run for 30... Well, he did have that rushing touchdown, though. I've got... Lord. Maybe I trade Geno Smith instead. So that's 5 on 5. Okay. Rachaad White, which would give me a dope backup. I'd move Geno Smith, Samaje Perine, Jacoby Myers, Deuce Vaughn for Rachaad White, an injured Odell, an injured Zay Jones, and a waiver wire Deion Jackson. This would improve the other guy's team by quite a bit. That would give him 3 rookie running backs. He wouldn't need Chuba Hubbard anymore. I'm trying to give this guy a backup quarterback. And I'm trying to get, essentially, an RB2. Especially if Aaron Jones is going to miss time. I'm going to have Brian Robinson. I'll essentially turn into Robinson and White as my running backs of the future when Mixon, Jones, and I guess Chubb now all fall by the wayside. Which is good. This is good. Unless... No, I don't want to try Tajay Spears. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to mortgage a chunk of my team for a rookie running back and then see what kind of flex players I can take off the waiver wire. Not a whole bunch. Stuff to look at. Westbrook Akine from Tennessee? Maybe, maybe not. KJ Osborne? No. Nelson Aguilar? Maybe. Allen Robinson up in Pittsburgh? Maybe. Tyler Boyd out in Cincinnati? Maybe. I don't have a lot of options. I'm kind of surprised Matt Breida didn't get picked up this week. I should have looked at Breida. And then Breida at least pilfered the touchdown. So, if the Giants can get in, Breida's got some value. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, there's not a whole bunch going on the waiver wire anyway. So, maybe I don't make that trade. And that as much as I'd want White, I don't have Jack on that waiver wire right now. Yeah, I'd have to take someone else, and then I'd have to hope that he would take him. Especially for his starting wide receiver. So there's Christian Kirk, who blew up last week. He had 14 targets. Pittman Jr. It's going to hit that every week. I'll throw in Christian Kirk and Michael Pittman. We'll see if this works. That. Drop all those injured guys. I don't know. I'm going to hold off on that one for a little bit. I'm concerned. Yeah, like other teams, I've got Rachaad White and T. Higgins on. Got Kelsey on that one. A guy I'm really interested in this year is the rookie wide receiver Tank Dell out of Houston. He's got some value. If he can stay out there and play. Meacham the third, John Meacham the third or whatever, from Houston. He's supposed to have value, but he was a rookie last year. Essentially took a redshirt year in the pros so he could recover from leukemia. He was getting cancer treatment for leukemia, so he was out all last year. He's probably going to take all this year to recover. Literally, I can't name other Houston wide receivers off the top of my head other than Robert Woods. Essentially, you've got Dalton Schultz and Robert Woods there at wide receiver. Let's pull this up. Houston, all. Nico Collins. There we go. You have Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and Robert Woods. And I would take Tank Dell. Nico Collins will be the number one guy. Tank Dell, number two wide receiver. Not gonna. That's pretty good. I like that. Nico Collins. Oh, very nice. 13th round. Very cool. Well, there are certain teams that have chances and certain teams that don't have chances. This one might not have a chance. I'm looking at a paid league. It was a miracle that I finished last week and ahead of the other guy. Everyone fucking balled out, but 38% chance to make the playoffs in that league. Not very good. I've got Dak Prescott, Rachaad White, Jerome Ford, T. Higgins, Drake London, Travis Kelce, and I might start Hunter Henry in my flex. God, what am I thinking? I got Khalil Herbert, Brandon Cooks, Dalton Kincaid, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Jimmy Garoppolo, Robert Woods, Tank Dell. So, I might move Valdes-Scantling out and see who the hell I can pick up here. Higbee, Schultz, Smith-Schuster. Yeah, none of these are very good players. All the high position ranking players are all defenses, kickers, or tight ends, and I don't need any more of any of those. Yeah, let me look at my flex. They're all tight ends. Until you get Brandon Johnson and his Hail Mary miracle catch at the end of the game last week. That was 11 points in his favor. Let's see. Oh, he had a touchdown for 16 yards earlier in the game. I must have missed that one. I was in and out watching that. Marvin Mims Jr., 2 very long catches, 113 yards and a TD. Yeah. They're all tight ends. Every single one of these flex. This is a league where it runs dry incredibly quick. Essentially, I'd have to hope that Nelson Aguilar is going to do it for me every week. Khalif Raymond? Oh, Khalif Raymond's like an afterthought up there in Detroit now that Josh Reynolds has remembered how to play wide receiver. Juju Smith-Schuster, they're about to kick to the wayside in New England, even though he's got talent. Mac Hollins? The second wide receiver in Atlanta that's running 2 running backs? Nope. Damian Harris. Sharing time with Latavius Murray as the backup guy for Buffalo. Nope. There's literally nobody to come save me in this league. That one might be trashed already. That one I didn't draft very well in. That one I'm not too particularly happy about. Yeah, I'm going to close that trade down. I've thought about it. As much as I want to consolidate value, I'm not going to get who I want and what I want. Like getting Rachaad White and Michael Pittman would be really cool. I don't think I can survive three players off the waiver wire. I'm already running 3 tight ends with one of them injured. If I had multiple IR spots, then this would be a different story. But we'll see what happens. The keep one per every position, looking pretty good. Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin Jefferson, and Jordan Addison, and T.J. Hawkinson. That's going to run me into issues later. Running 3 offensive players from Minnesota when Kirk Cousins is like going to start trending down this year. But I've got Drake London. Cam Akers was such a disaster. I should never have drafted him. Khalil Herbert, Sam Laporta, Rashid Shaheed from New Orleans, Gus Edwards, Tank Dell, Craig Reynolds. Lord, what do I do? I've got really good running backs, but my wide receivers all have question marks everywhere. Jordan Addison, rookie wide receiver, running second wide receiver in Minnesota. Drake London, top wide receiver for a rush-heavy attack. Rashid Shaheed, second-year guy out of New Orleans. Looking at, I'm not really certain where that offense is out there. Tank Dell, like I said, dart throw, and that's it. So, I don't know. That team's going to be good because I got Jalen Hurts and Justin Jefferson on it. They're going to be good for a long time because I drafted those suckers really fucking well last year. Okay. That covers all my ESPN teams. Yahoo. Purdy on my bench, but I have Jalen Hurts on that team. Same guys everywhere. Drake London, Christian Kirk, Pat Freiermuth, Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, I've got some guys that I've targeted. In that boom room, I should be alright this year. Should be alright. I lost by 3 points last week because of stuff at the end of the Monday night games. My opponent really got lucky at the very end. Next one is the 20-man with individual defensive players. I screwed up on Thursday night. I don't have a good third wide receiver. My running backs are terrible, Dameon Pierce, and I had Damian Harris. And I screwed up, and I did not start Matt Breida over Harris. I just didn't do it. But Breida got that touchdown, so we got 11 points. So I might be screwed. This is a league. I've got Logan Thomas that I can't put on IR, and I've got Greg Dulcich that I can't put on IR. I'm going to have to drop one. Even though this league is generally one where you will roster people at 0%. You will. There is no way around it. There's a chance that I roster a 3% guy in Braxton Berrios in Miami. Not a good thing. There's a chance that I take Calvin Austin III? No, Lord, no. Like, 4 targets, 1 catch. Get Demario Douglas out there. He's already lost a fumble. He's probably in Bill Belichick's doghouse. Like I said, Berrios, Deontay Hardy. Hell, I haven't even heard of Deontay Hardy. Like, I'm looking at guys that have had, 3 targets a week. Jalen Tolbert was talked up last offseason. I took Jalen Tolbert in the rookie draft, and then dropped him for Noah Brown, and then Noah Brown's not even on the Cowboys this year anymore. Like, do I go Ty Montgomery? This league probably not. They don't count return yards, and Montgomery's essentially a returner from New England right now. Khalif Raymond, like I said, Khalif Raymond becomes an option, but I need a guy to break out for me to pick up anybody wide receiver wise. So I took a different guy from Miami because he actually has 12 targets, the number 3 guy back there, and with what's his face, Jalen Waddle being out this week, you have a chance for another Miami wide receiver to step up. Just all of a sudden. So, we'll see what happens there. And that this is one of those leagues where you've got to draft your offense well. And in some instances, it actually behooves you to draft your offense very well at the beginning and then just luck into some defensive players at the end. I did the other way. I drafted my defense so I don't have to worry about it and then only pick up guys when they're injured. That's it. So, one Dynasty League, and that, oof. I'm going to crush this other guy. He's probably... Oh, no, that's what happened last week. I was trying to figure out why I lost. There had to have been something that happened at the very end, and it's because Chubb got injured. And that I lost by 0.32 points. Ooh, that's a difference between 3rd place and 6th place. He's got... Ooh, wow. You drafted those wide receivers well. Yeah. Levante David crapped the bed for me, but Myles Garrett fell through for him. Oh, because that Tampa Bay defense at the very end. That Tampa Bay D and Fred Warner there really, really came through. Oh, because Troutman didn't get anything. That's why. Adam Troutman, I started, didn't even get a target. Deep League. Who else could I have had? Cole Kmet. I could have started Cole Kmet. I would have been fine. But we'll see what happens. I've got Jerome Ford in this league, which is a good thing because Jerome Ford is one of my flex plays. And this is also the Superflex League where I've got Mac Jones, unfortunately, starting at my Superflex position, my QB2. But we'll see what happens here. There's a chance that I have to swap out players. Do I start Christian Watson or do I start Toby Jones? This is a weird league where they actually give you points for rushing attempts, which actually makes running backs even more ungodly powerful and makes wide receivers rather underpowered, which is interesting. So I might start A.J. Dillon, Toby Jones, and Jerome Ford in my flex positions and leave Rashad Shaheed, Tyler Boyd, and Christian Watson on my flex, as opposed to Scary Terry, Mike Evans, Jerry Jeudy. No, I'm not really happy with that team. I'll take a chance. I'm playing a taco of the league. We'll see what happens this week. The one where I should have listened to my gut. I started Daniel Jones instead of Russell Wilson. Why? Because I'm insane? Because I thought Daniel Jones would be able to get something going? But that's dumb. I'm probably screwed right there. Because that's 9 points off the projections. And so I'm probably going to lose to the guy that's in 8th place right now. I'm in 6th, he's in 8th. I'm going to need some miracles from David Njoku. Or start Zach Ertz. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I got Jalen Waddle out for this team, so I got Keenan Allen, Scary Terry, and Nico Collins playing. Could be worse. Could be worse. That'll be the Jacksonville D. And those are my teams for the year. We'll see what happens. I hope I get at least 4 of my 9 teams in the playoffs and go from there. Thank you.